On reaching Holloway, Mrs. Pankhurst demanded the rights accorded to political prisoners, which were denied her. In protest, she broke the regulations by deliberately speaking to her daughter during exercise, for which she was characterized a dangerous criminal and placed in solitary confinement. The public outcry was such that the Home Office sent orders that Emmeline and Christabel were to be allowed to talk and exercise together for 1 hour each day, and that they were to be granted the privilege of access to newspapers. She was sent to prison for 1 month, into the 3rd Division for common criminals, rather than the 1st, which was designated for political offenders. When the Home Secretary refused her application to be placed in the 1st Division, she went on hunger strike. After 91 hours without food, she was released from prison in a state of collapse. From this moment on, the hunger strike became the central thrust of the suffragette strategy. Mary Lee was sentenced to imprisonment for throwing a roofing slate at the car of the Prime Minister. After 48 hours in which she refused all food, the prison doctor was sent for. He warned her that her actions were futile, and on no condition would she be released on medical grounds. He would take whatever steps necessary to force her to eat.
The wardresses forced me onto a bed. While I was held down, a nasal tube was inserted. It is 2 yards long, with a funnel at the end. The end is put up the right and the left nostril on alternative days. Great pain is experienced during the process, both mental and physical. The drums of the ears seem to be bursting, and there is a horrible pain in the throat and breast. The tube is pushed down 20 inches. The doctor stands up on a chair holding the funnel at arm's length and pours the liquid down, about a pint of milk and egg. If the doctor does not think that the liquid is going down sufficiently swiftly, he pinches my nose with the tube in it and my throat, causing me increased pain.
Upon hearing that these methods were being adopted in his prisons, Edward VII wrote to the Home Secretary.
Dear Mr. Gladstone, the King is very glad to learn that more stringent and precautionary measures are to be taken with regard to the suffragettes, whose behaviour of late has, in many cases, been a public scandal.
They flung open the door of my cell. On the threshold I saw doctors, and at the back of them a large group of wardresses. I caught up a heavy earthenware water jug from the table hard by, and with hands that now felt no weakness, I swung the jug high. If any of you take one step inside my cell, I shall defend myself, I cried. Nobody spoke for a few seconds. Then the doctor confusedly muttered something, and they all retreated. The wholesale hunger strike created a tremendous stir throughout England. And every day in the House, ministers were harassed with questions, shocked to the depth of his soul by the insults thrown at our women. Mr. Lansbury confronted the Prime Minister.
You are beneath contempt, you and your colleagues. You call yourselves gentlemen, and you forcibly feed and murder women in this fashion. You ought to be driven out of office. Talk about protesting. It is the most disgraceful thing that ever happened in the history of England. you will go down to history as the men who tortured innocent women